Hey, before I start the podcast for real, a little bit of a disclaimer because Niantic updates some things between when I recorded this podcast on September 29th and today of September 30th. Hopefully they don't do something else before Monday. Long story short, those of you who've been struggling to get your regional Pokemon, you have extra time to do so. Niantic has extended the time period till October 8th. I'm not sure if the devil in the details, because the tweet that they sent says you'll have extra time to catch Farfetch, Kangaskhan, Mr. Mime, and Twirls in 7-kilometer eggs. That's the exact wording in the details. I know there was other Pokemon that were added specifically for the Kanto event, like Porygon and Tangela. I'm not 100% sure if they're in eggs or not. But I'm just assuming that they're going to be keeping the current format of what comes out of eggs, and that they won't be adjusting it again. So my assumption would be that you can get Tangelas and Porygons out of these eggs still as well. But if anyone has any information otherwise, feel free to let me know, and I'll be sure to let everyone know in the next pod. Hey interweb, this is JackitK, and welcome for another edition of the Pokemon Go Fireside Chat. It's a weird feeling this week, because I feel like nothing eventful's been happening, even though we got so many new headlines in the news in Pokemon Go pretty recently. I guess my luck just has me on the outlier. How's that news? I guess I can go more into that in a bit though. What was that segue? I guess I mean to say that I am just on the outlier of the news, because all the cool, exciting, eventful stuff that should be happening, I somehow had the luck of avoiding the bad luck. More into that a little bit later though. I should at least go over some things in the headlines. First and foremost, before I do that though, follow up on something I pondered in last week's mini podcast. I had an itching suspicion that the metagame was going to be shaken up with Mewtwo having new moves. And I'm pretty sure the news was already out there, I just didn't get a chance to look at it. I finally got the chance to do said research and look into the moves Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, and Flamethrower. And as expected, it really shakes things up. The raw DPS power of Mewtwo's got these moves in better hands than the majority of electric and fire types. And ice types. To give you an example, currently Mewtwo is the strongest ice attacker in the game. That's right. Jinx, Lapras, they're all out, even Articuno, all outclassed by a Pokemon that's not even in our ice type. In fact, if the research I looked into was correct, and I only just vaguely glanced at it, but I'm pretty sure that we're not even going to be getting a stronger ice type in Gen 4, minus Piloswine, which was already being projected as the best ice attacker in the game. So Mewtwo's still the best ice attacker, and even with Gen 4, he's going to be a close second. Maybe not close, but he'll be comfortably in second if I'm understanding correctly. Thunderbolt, while I believe Raikou still is better than Mewtwo, maybe Zapdos too. You know, I was on the fence about that, so I just did a quick fact check. By fact check, I just checked a certain news article that revolved around Mewtwo's moveset. And yeah, Mewtwo is the second best electric type. As worded by the GoHub article, Mewtwo is just Zapdos, but a better typing. I'm a little skeptical about the better typing part, but the confirmation that it's just as powerful, maybe even a little more powerful, that I agree with. So Mewtwo's outclassing freaking Zapdos, it outclassed Articuno, and it's not even the Pokemon of those types. That's just how powerful it is. So powerful that you just give it a good move of that particular type, and it's the best of class. It's freaking nuts. Exception is Flamethrower. Seems like I couldn't find any exact details of how much it ranked with other fire-based attackers. But everything I read is still saying that your typical fire counters are still better. So Entei and Moltres still outperform Mewtwo, even Flareon. Haven't seen anything of if Ho-Oh outperforms Mewtwo, but it wouldn't surprise me. Still, like, Mewtwo's not a bad option if you just so happen to catch a Mewtwo from a Mewtwo raid already with Flamethrower, and you haven't raised up any fire counters, I suppose. It's just not top tier in that, but it's still pretty nuts of just giving it these moves have drastically changed Mewtwo from just being your stereotypical raw DPS producer to being the best attacker of 2 new types. Which makes it suck that it's so hard for me to find a freaking Mewtwo raid. It's got all these new moves and all that, but they out of EX raids, all this good stuff. But they decide to up the raid boss level power. It's still a tier 5, but it has it's more powerful than it was in the EX raids, which means requiring more people to defeat, meaning harder to access if you rely on luck to find the people to raid with. I didn't think I relied on luck, but it just has not working out. But I gotta save that for those experiences. We got a few other headlines to go through, like another thing I've been unlucky with, getting an EX raid, because with Mewtwo out, there's a new EX raid Pokemon in. I think it might have already been announced that Pokemon's Deoxys, but the first set of EX raid passes have gone out. And despite years truly doing a raid at a gym, it must have been too long of a time period between the raid and the EX raid invite, because guess who's not going to the first Deoxys? This guy's not going to the first Deoxys. From what I hear, though, there's been a lot of bad luck with it. This is the first time I actually saw someone in person share that they had an EX raid pass rejected, or I shouldn't say in person, but it's the first time I've seen it firsthand and not just like saw it on news headlines and that. People actually reporting that their EX raid passes got cancelled. Now, I don't even know what's up with that, because typically that's something that's usually reserved for if the area that it said EX raid pass is going to be at flat out is close for that area. Like, for example, around the time when we had a bunch of EX raid invites on Christmas, a bunch of them got canceled because it was like in a mall that would be closed on that holiday or something else like that. But I've also heard that they haven't been... There's another feature that kind of went under the radar where if you did a gym and qualified for an EX raid, if that gym had a raid boss going on right when the EX raid passes were being sent out, you would flat out not get an invite. Apparently that's changed slightly. Normally you would just not get a pass, and if you didn't hear about anyone else getting EX raid passes in other EX raid gyms, you would be none the wiser. However, now they seem to be doing the cancellation that they usually reserve for manually canceling the gym for this sort of situation. Now, if you were going to get an EX raid pass, but there was a raid going out at the same time, essentially canceling out your pass, you wouldn't just be left in the dark. You would actually get the EX raid pass cancellation. And the nice thing about this cancellation is that when your EX raid pass gets canceled, you actually get a little incentive. You get 2 premium passes and some Stardust. So when you think about it and compare it to how things were in the past where you got nothing at all, at least now, if you're unfortunate enough to have a raid happen right when the EX raids invites are going out, you'll at least get a premium pass and some Stardust. Granted, I don't know if this has actually been reported, but this is the assumptions that I'm making based on the questioning I did from the person in person who had their EX Raid Pass canceled, and all these other cancellations that I've seen flowing around on the internet. If I find out I'm wrong, I'll correct myself, but I'm pretty confident that's what's happening. So, for those of you who were lucky enough to get an EX Raid Pass, you're probably wondering what you should bring against this Deoxys. Now, I haven't made a raid guide myself, but there's plenty of articles out there that will tell you exactly what you need, assuming they would load. The good news is that Deoxys is a psychic type, just like Mewtwo. So basically, everything you're going to bring is going to be exactly the same. Yeah, just from what's listed on GoHub, your typical list of Mewtwo with Shadow Ball, Tyranitar with double dark moves, Gengar, Absol, Banette, Pinsir, Sharpedo, Houndoom, Scizor, all Pokemon that I've recommended for Mewtwo are also being recommended against Deoxys. And it makes perfect sense because Deoxys is the same type. In fact, Deoxys might actually be easier than Mewtwo, just for the sole fact that it does not have Focus Blast, a move that would decimate one of the top counters against Mewtwo. With a Mewtwo raid, if it had Focus Blast, you could just kiss your Tyranitars goodbye. One hit KO against the first Focus Blast that hits it. All due to the fact that Tyranitar is a Dark and a Rock type, and both those types are weak to fighting, making it extra weak to fighting, more so than your typical Dark type. But the raw power of Tyranitar would normally outweigh that. Now that Deoxys doesn't appear to have any sort of fighting move on his moveset, you won't have to worry about debating whether or not to send your Tyranitars. They're fair game, and they're probably some of the best things you can send. Now, according to GoHub, this is the moveset that they'll have. Your Deoxys that you could be facing could possibly either have the move Charge Beam, an electric quick move, or Zen Headbutt, a quick psychic move. And the charge moves that I could have include Psycho Boost, Thunderbolt, and Hyper Beam. I'll double check real quick if they state anything about the power of Psycho Boost, but it does not look like it's going to be the case, and since yours truly is not going to get a Deoxys, you won't be able to see how it stacks up. I might as well bring this up now because it's finally starting to click in my head. If you got a lot of quick TMs and just so happen to have a Shadow Ball Mewtwo, you might want to get it to have Psycho Cut and not Confusion. For a long time I couldn't figure out which move was better, but I think it just boils down to if you want power or charge up. Psycho Boost is weaker than Confusion, but Psycho Boost will power up your charge move faster than Confusion. So if you're using a charge move that's weak against the Pokemon, but the quick move is resisted, like say against a Mewtwo against a Mewtwo, you will want Psycho Cut for your quick move. If you're going up something where both the quick move and the charge move are neutral or super effective, you want Confusion. For example, the best move set against a Machamp would be Confusion and Psychic. And that's all I got for there, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna make a raid guide for Mewtwo. Or I mean Deoxys. It took me forever to get around to making a raid guide for Mewtwo, and I ended up just waiting until Mewtwo became normal raid accessible. But I believe if you take the Mewtwo guide and follow that through, maybe take out the notes that I have about Tyranitar dropping in ranks if you're going up against a Focus Blast one, because Mewtwo or the Deoxys doesn't have that move. That raid guy should still be pretty useful. All these mix-ups between Mewtwo and the Deoxys kind of just proves my point. Typing wise, they're one and the same, and their movesets are similar enough that you're not going to be missing out on anything. If there was a really good Dark Ground type in the game, then maybe that Pokemon would be more useful against the Deoxys than would be against Mewtwo. But as it stands, such a Pokemon does not exist in the games. And if there's even any examples in the main game, they're so obscure that I doubt their power would rank up enough to actually be useful in this situation. On the tangent of things that we were kind of already familiar with, but got more details on, the Pokemon that we've known as Nuddle, or yours truly knows as Nutboy, and some even worse names, has an official name that we all gotta get used to calling it. That mythic Pokemon that we were seeing all over Community Day and occasionally elsewhere, that just turned into a Diddle no matter how much we tried, is actually Meltan. Meltan is a new mythic Pokemon that, through the combined efforts of Professor Whittle and Oak, they were able to discover the very basics of. Meltan is a mythic Pokemon that Oak apparently came across in a book. And it sounds like I'm just making this up on the top of my head, but they actually have a video where you can hear Professor Oak, and probably one of the worst voices of him yet, and Willow, who actually got a voice in oh wow, it's amazing, having a conversation about this mythic Pokemon. After the release of that video, a little bit more information on Meltan appeared on the Pokémon Go, or the Pokemon Let's Go website. Its name is Meltan. It is the Hex Nut Pokemon. I am 5. It is the Steel type. Hex Nut. It is as itty bitty tiny as it looks, being an 1/8 of a centimeter, is that? But it weighs 17 pounds, which is a lot for how much size it is. And its official Pokemon number is still unknown. Most of Meltan's body is made from liquid metal, and its shape is very fluid. It can use his liquid arm and legs to corrode metal and absorb it into his own body. Meltan generates energy using the metal it absorbs from outside sources, uses electricity as an energy source, and can also attack from its eye, like Cyclops. Clearly a curious Pokemon, is very expressive and shows an interest in all kinds of things. And as for that video, I believe if you go to the Pokemon Company's YouTube channel and just search for Introducing Meltan, you'll find it. Heck, you might even be able to go to YouTube, search New Pokemon Discovered, Introducing Meltan, and find it that way. And continuing on the tangent of things that we shouldn't know about, but thanks to the internet we do, October's Community Day Pokemon has officially been revealed. Woo! Thank you, internet and data miners, for completely spoiling the surprise. But hey, I'm not too upset. I just know that someday if I get popular enough, people are gonna go, JackitK, why didn't you cover this? This is it's all over the news. Go up, all the major news article outlets are reporting on this. And that's because I don't report on leaks. I know some people, granted it's probably very niche in the Pokemon Go community, prefer to actually hear things officially. I'm more so coming from a background where, in the gaming community, outside of Pokemon Go, everyone leaks everything. And it's only balanced out because for every real leak that actually comes out, there's at least 20 fake leaks. And people making leaks so legit looking that you can't tell the difference. So it's better not to believe in any of them, because if they end up to be true, you're just spoiling the surprise for yourself. Game companies pay marketing teams a lot of money to time their announcements out perfectly to generate the right amount of hype and say only what they want to say and what we need to hear at the moment, and the leak just go out and ruins all of it. Yet, I kind of just grown adjusted to it in the Pokemon Go community, because everyone leaks, they're always accurate, and people are just okay with it. So, I'm accustomed to it too. If you want to look at the leaks, that's fine with me. I choose not to report on them, because I get the feeling that there's an unvocal group out there, I'm not even going to say majority or minority, that would prefer to just hear things officially. More or less. That's why I'm staying away from data mining and links and articles. Because technically this wasn't a data mine. For those of you who weren't following around, I think it's safe to talk about it now that it's official. Someone in the Annex company didn't hide things on their website good enough. Or maybe they were hidden but not good enough to keep typing happy fingermen for... It's not data mining if it's not data in the game. So what do you call it when you're looking through a website's assets? Whatever, you know what I mean now. They're able to look for the website's assets to see that there was a picture of a Beldum up. I wonder why they put a picture of a Beldum up on the Pokemon Go Community Day page. Wonder why it's one of the assets for the site. I wonder if that means that the next Community Day Pokemon is going to be Beldum, and I say very sarcastically because that's obviously what it means. And the official announcement just made it official. Beldum, long tangent later, is going to be our October Community Day Pokemon. And I gotta confess, Metagross isn't my favorite Gen 3 Pokemon, but I'll admit it's a pretty cool one. It's a rare one, it's a powerful one, and with how few good Steel types we have in the game, and the possibility that this will make Steel types a little bit more relevant, I'm all for it. I'm pretty excited about it. Especially because October 21st is a day right after my birthday. So I get to enjoy a Saturday of birthday celebrations and have a birthday community day afterwards. I'm looking forward to the day already. I think what I'm going to do is just hold off on my Mewtwo hunting for the 21st, because Mewtwo race should actually still be around by then, which makes this all work out so perfectly. Go out and hunt for raids in the morning. Go out to where I do my community day walks and do a community day hunt for a pretty relevant Pokemon. Get an extra hour for evolutions afterwards. Took them a couple community days, but it looks like they finally got the hint from the community that we actually like having an hour after our Pokemon hunting to go through and evolve and not have to worry about that while we're hunting for Pokemon. More on that particular detail later. Overall, it's like this is going to be the perfect birthday weekend, thanks to the time of this community day, and I'm so glad that it's an actual uncommon Pokemon and not just a Pokemon that happens to fit the theme of the month. And I'm going to cut myself off from there. Besides, I had a feeling, even with my bias aside, that we were not going to get a Ghastly Community Day, and no, it's not just because they practically leaked Beldum Community Day shortly after the end of Chikorita Day. There's a lot of factors that just seemed like that it would have been a dumb decision to put Ghastly as the Community Day Pokemon. One is Shiny sucks. Okay, that one's not really a logical reason but it's something that could play in factor, and I feel like many people overlook this. You may think that Gengar Shiny is cool, but that's only because you're getting it mixed up with Mega Gengar. Mega Gengar is a pretty dope shiny, I give it to you. Go from that purple to a pure white aesthetic. But do you realize what normal Gengar's shiny is? You probably don't, because it's the same exact color, the shiny as a regular. Maybe just like a couple tones darker, at best. If I recall correctly, Ghastly's is a little bit cool, Haunter's might be alright. But we really don't want Ghastly to be the focus of the shiny. Which makes my next point a little bit more disappointing and a little contradictory, but trust me, it's much more unharmful this way. They could really lower the blow of a disappointing shiny if they did it this way, which I'm pretty sure they're gonna do, because come on, if you've been a fan for this game for a year, you know they're gonna have an event revolving around Halloween. It was Pokemon Go's first official event back in 2016. They brought it back for 2017. They're gonna bring it back for 2018, especially considering it's one of their best events. The double candy for everything, even transferring a really high moment in Pokemon Go events. They're going to bring it back, and you know what they've been doing for Pokemon Go events lately. They've been introducing a new shiny, and I can see why people would be afraid to have a disappointing shiny be the focus of Pokemon Go. But hear me out. Anyone knows another trend that's been going on with shinies lately? They've been doing not one, but two new shinies lately. For the Johto event, we had both Mewtwo and Sunkern and Pinecone. Kanto event, we had Geodude and Grimer with new shinies introduced. That's at least 3 events in a row, and I'm pretty sure the one before that had 2 shinies as well. I'm just drawing a bit of a brain fart. If they do Ghastly for the shiny in the Halloween event, they'll probably do another shiny too. And I'm going to take bets right here, because there's only 2 ghost types who have yet to have their shiny reveal in the game, not counting Gen 4. And those Pokemon are the Ghastly line and the Mischievous line. So I got an itching suspicion that both Ghastly and Mischievous will have their shinies revealed for the Halloween event. And I will eat my hat if we do not get shiny Gengar by the end of October. You can bet on it. Now, I've just said in the tweet, so I might as well go official here. Granted, I kind of adjusted it on the off chance they want to do something else in October besides the Halloween event. But I am 90% sure that's when they're going to reveal the shiny. I had a speculation that for October that they were going to push Suicune off till November and do something really cool for the research breakthrough. If you've been in the Pokemon Go community long enough, you've probably heard of the quick move Shadow Claw. It is a move that you can only get on Gengar for the first year of Pokemon Go, and it is Gengar's best quick move. You know what else was the 2016 quick move? Or legacy move, as they call it, Body Slam on Snorlax. And guess what they brought when they made Snorlax the research Pokemon? Body Slam Snorlax. Granted, I have to correct myself because Body Slam's a charge move, not a quick move. But I meant legacy move. Like, they probably just didn't think of it. But they really should have just made October Community Day, or October's research breakthrough, Halloween theme around ghost types, because they love their Halloween stuff anyways, and made Gengar a research breakthrough Pokemon, but haven't know the move Shadow Claw. That would have made so many people happy, and it would free up Community Day for Megting still. And let's be honest here, Mewtwo's not a bad Halloween choice. It's definitely not one of the first or second things you think of, but especially with the shiny form, I would hang it out as a Halloween decoration. It's spooky, it's badass, and it's got that glow in the dark. Oh, I know why it fits the Halloween theme, because it looks just like the moon. Looks like the moon on the Halloween night, with that white metal body and the gold plating. Oh wow, I went on a super tangent there. But that's why this is not a mini episode. Bellum Community Day, yeah, Bellum Community Day. I think I covered the big thing about it, but let me make sure I'm not missing any details. Let's see what the details are. So, Bellum is going to be the Pokemon Community Day. It's going to have an exclusive move for its fully evolved form. We don't know what that is technically, but there is a lot of speculation that is a certain move that they found in the code. And I don't know if I should talk about it now, because I just mentioned how I went on a stupid long tangent about leaking. I don't know. For some reason, maybe I'm being a hypocrite, but for some reason, a leak on a move doesn't seem as big of a deal as a leak on a Pokemon. No, I think I'll talk about it because unlike with leaks on a Pokemon, a move being in the game doesn't necessarily prove anything. But a lot of people are speculating that a signature move is going to be Meteor Match, because it's a powerful Steel type move. It's a move that Metagross can learn in the main games. And Metagross is a Steel type Pokemon, so it would fit his moveset. And I think we learned after that oddball with Ampharos with Dragon Pulse, it seems like Niantic learned their lesson that players want stab moves for their signature move. So it would make sense for Metagross to get this Meteor Match move, because we definitely need Steel type attackers way more than we do Psychic types. But since it's not official, we don't know for sure, and it could be anything. Maybe. Oh my god. I don't even want to say it because I don't even want to say it because I feel like I'm going to jinx it, and then the internet's going to hate me, but YOLO. I was just going to say it'd be funny if they made the signature move for Metagross Splash. Like, have a splashing Metagross. Like, that would totally set the internet on a riot. Niantic Studios, between the stupid rarity of Mewtwo and his harder access, not getting rid of EX raids, and this, Niantic would have a line of riot and pitchforks and torches the size of the state of California. Off the tangent though, things we actually know are going to be around for this community day and are actually good. Egg catch distance bonus is back. For those of you who don't remember, when you put an incubator up during the hours of community day, that incubator will be cut the eggs hatch time down to a fourth. And it stacks with super incubators. I forget the exact numbers, but I remember from past community days that pretty much made a 10-kilometer egg down to a 2-kilometer walking distance, if not something like 2.8. It's pretty darn good in combination with the super incubator. And like in all community days, lures will last a whole 3 hours. And the bonus, which I hope they continue onwards into other community days, but after abandoning the idea for Eevee community day, you never know for sure. You don't actually have to worry about evolving your Metagross in the middle of community day. You actually get a full hour after the event ends to evolve your Mantang, the pre-evolved form, into a Metagross to obtain this special move. That is a really sweet touch. And while I really hope they keep this up with future community days. I can understand if what they did for Eevee Community Day was too excessive. I understand the appeal of wanting to keep Community Day to once a week inside that 3-hour window. But there was no reason to limit our evolution in that time frame, and I think giving us 1 extra hour after the event is a fair compromise between the leniency we had for Eevee Community Day and what we typically get on a Community Day. Last, but certainly not least, is probably my favorite story out of the bunch. I don't know, the announcement itself may not be too exciting, but the way that it was presented is just really interesting and engaging to someone like me. And I'm glad I checked the Pokemon Go Hub article instead of just going by what I saw people talking about. So Niantic started a new program to allow YouTube content creators to share exclusive information with their viewers that isn't normally shared through Niantic's typical announcement channels. And this is the interesting part, because from what I was hearing, this one content creator gets all the credit for sharing the news, but apparently it was a whole program that all the big Pokemon Go YouTubers had access to. Just so happened that this guy got his video out first. I wasn't sure to say if he got the information first, but it makes more sense to say that he just made and released the video first. And for the first time ever on Pokemon Go Fireside Chat history, I will be name dropping a YouTuber. Oh, a Pokemon Go YouTuber. Guess technically certain other YouTubers get credit for that. The first content creator to use this channel is Reversal, a name that's pretty well known in the Pokemon Go community. From my understanding, the most popular YouTuber on the channel. As a big channel, he has a wide variety of opinions about him, but regardless, the fact remains that he is one of the largest, if not the largest, Pokemon Go YouTube channel. And I know I keep beating around the bush about what this reveal actually is, but I'm just so excited about the idea of this program, and I can't believe I almost missed this detail. How new is this new program that Niantic has started? Is it going to be a constant thing? Is this a one-time deal? Are they constantly going to give exclusive access to your plans to the future to YouTubers to report to the viewers? Because that is actually really exciting to someone who doesn't exactly follow the Pokemon Go YouTube base, but who follows YouTube as a gaming community in general. That's actually really exciting to hear that Niantic is reaching out through the community, through these YouTubers. I don't know, that just really excites me, and I'll get to the point. I mean, honestly, this is a more exciting point to me than the point, but I'll get to the point that you guys probably care about anyways. If you guys are observing the patterns, you may notice that shiny Pokemon have been revealed lately with each new month. Each new research breakthrough seems to have a Pokemon worth chasing as well. And with this month, it's going to be water Pokemon themed because Suicune is the research breakthrough. What's actually new though is Krabby has been thrown into the game as a new shiny you can get. Therefore, you can also evolve into a shiny Kingler. They'll be available through field research, and through extension you should be able to find them in the wild that way too. And all I heard, because I'll admit I haven't really watched the video yet, but it appears to be hinted that it's not going to be a difficult quest. Then again, considering this month was shiny Growlithe, and that quest was as simple as feeding a Pokemon berries, I'm not surprised. On the tangent of facts about as obvious as the sky being blue at this point, He also revealed that there's going to be a new form of Spinda. I'll admit, this was more apparently coming than the shiny Pokemon. You could bank that to coincidence, but it's exciting to hear that news officially nevertheless. And I'm still super curious how this new partner program that Niantic seems to be developing with YouTubers is going to work. Now, if I could find a specific article on Niantic's program themselves, I'm actually way more interested in that. Don't get me wrong, a gold crab is pretty cool, and a green rock-like color crab isn't too bad either. But whenever I hear about game companies working with content creators, actually making use out of them as a form of press, that just gets me so excited, because I've been watching YouTube content creators, or should I say content creators in general, since my late high school, early college days. And while I haven't really found too many Pokemon Go YouTube channels that I've clicked with, I am really into YouTube gaming in general. If you can tell from the content I do outside of this podcast. Like, the majority of what I watch online is just other people playing video games and talking while going through them. But the reasons why that is a whole nother thing that would take a whole nother hour to talk about, so I'll spare you from the details today. Just know that because of my passion towards gaming content creators, on a general scope, it always gets me excited to hear about programs that involve game developers working with content creators. Granted, this is nothing new for Niantic. They've worked with the big name Pokemon Go YouTubers for a while. I'm kind of curious if this will allow them, the new program will allow them to expand to more faces than what they brought onto that particular project, though. I guess for those of you who weren't following the Pokemon Go channel closely, during the summer events, the Tokyo Safari Zone, the Europe Safari Zone, and Pokemon Go Fest. I'm terribly sorry, it's not Tokyo. All I remember off the top of my head was that was the Safari Zone that they did in Japan. And I'm deeply sorry about that. But point being, they pretty much brought the big names on the Pokemon Go YouTube community, personally flown them out there to film an event that they promoted right on their own Pokemon Go's YouTube channel. And I believe they also worked with a lot of online creators, at least the big names, during the first Pokemon Go Fest as well. So Niantic seems to have a niche, realize the potential of online content creators, and want to really get in on that. And that's something that makes me excited about the company. Who knows, maybe next month we'll hear about a never before heard of YouTube channel, one that was completely off the radar, be the first one to report the new shiny for November. With people like Reversal, who have so much time to dedicate and pretty much revolve their livelihood around reporting Pokemon Go news, I get the feeling that we're going to be seeing his name next month more than any other content creator, but it's a thought. It's really got my gears turning, and I better get off this topic before I spend another half hour talking about it. Before we move on to the next segment of the podcast, I want to start a new segment, one that I call Read Off, where I go through the Pokemon Go Ranger app and just read off time-sensitive events. It's worth knowing that I am recording this on a Saturday evening, and in most situations you will not have access to this until Monday between editing and just waiting to the start of the week. So keep in mind that depending on when you hear this, you may give or take a couple days. But as this time of Saturday, November 29th, here's a list of time-sensitive events going on. The Kanto event in general is coming to an end soon. Regionals, as well as the increased spawns of Kanto Pokemon, will be subsiding by the start of October. As I'm reading this, you have 19 hours and 4 minutes left to catch your Kanto Pokemon and get those gift eggs. It's worth knowing that you just have to get the eggs before the Kanto event ends. You don't necessarily have to hatch them before the Kanto event ends. So time your gifts accordingly. Entei Research Breakthrough will be ending soon as well. That will be starting up at November 1st. You got a little bit more time for that than you do. Did I say November? I mean October. I'm just already thinking that it's October. That might bring up messed up. Point being, oh, I forgot the real distinction. Kanto event ends on September 30th, 4 p.m. in my time zone, which is US Eastern. The Entei Research Breakthrough ends on October 1st, 4 p.m. Eastern. In its place, the Suicune Research Breakthrough will start, and that stuff I talked about in regards to Shiny Krabby, as well as the new Spinda will be coming out when that official swap takes place. I'm going to note it here because I only just realized in the last rotation. Field research changes as well, so if you find a stop before 4 p.m. that has a Spinda quest, for example, make sure that the people in your community know that they have to get there before 4 p.m. Otherwise, it's going to be a completely different quest, because field research from Pokestops seem to rotate right alongside with the research breakthrough. For those of you who keep track of Pokemon Go nests, the next nest migration will be happening Wednesday, October 3rd at 8 p.m. So if you found a park that has a really good Pokemon, I would recommend stocking up on it now. Get out there and go for a walk before Wednesday, or at least get it done on Wednesday in order to get that Pokemon. And brace yourself to get out there and report the new nest Pokemon when that rotates. Last but not certainly least, if you've been having luck similar to mine with Mewtwo raids, the bright side is that you still have plenty of time to get the Mewtwo's that you desire. The Mewtwo raids end on Tuesday, October 23rd at 4 p.m. Over 23 days as I'm recording this on Saturday to get your Mewtwo raids in. Because good lord, you're going to need all the time you can get to get the people at the right place at the right time. And you're almost at experience, JackitK. Just make sure you got for all the points. So, Beldum Community Day is October 21st, as I mentioned before. And one thing that I just realized that the Gold Ranger app hasn't updated yet. It hasn't updated that get the extra hour to evolve your Pokemon. Oh no, that's just saying when it's coming up, not when it ends. Oh, and it does include when it ends on there. Praise the glory as Gold Ranger. I swear it's on both Android and Apple devices. And it's just the best thing ever. If I haven't talked about it already. And only does it give you time sensitive information on your app like this, so you don't have to rely on me when my time zone is probably different from you, and if you live outside of the US, times might be completely different for some of these events. And you can just get up-to-date info right on the app, even if I'm not there. Hashtag not sponsored, but you're free to sponsor. Let me sponsor you. It's got a checklist if you'd like to keep track of the shinies you've collected. You can make your own checklist or use some preset ones. It's pretty much got every information, set of information you would want. Like what's in the current set of Pokemon eggs, what are the raid bosses, what to use against the raid bosses, how much candy you get from walking Pokemon. Pretty much anything you would actually want as a reference is in this app. And personally, the only issue I've had is occasional issues with loading, but I haven't even noticed that recently. And now we can finally move on to my experiences, which I'm going to keep short and sweet because I didn't do much that didn't lead to disappointment. Now, you guys may think you're getting a long episode because of all the tangents I made in the news, but I'll be sure to make up for it by talking about my experiences this week as little as possible because I don't want to be another negative Nancy week and not enough good happened. Was Chikorita Community Week really that short of a time ago? Because I talked about Chikorita Community Week already. Oh yeah, that was a quick sum down of things. Oh yeah, because of Netboy, I mean Melt 10. Milton is fine too. Milton is just as good of a name as the other names, just not as appealing to a 5-year-old. So I can't really say that it's been a terrible week in Pokemon Go. But man, my luck with Mewtwo's not great. And I am lucky I did all the raids during Community Day that I could. Let's just say, whatever voodoo god I upset when I was hunting for legendary birds is still mad at me because my Mewtwo hunt luck seems to be going just as bad. From the last time we've talked, I have caught one new Mewtwo. And considering how much I am able to actually get out and raid during the weekend, or at least on Friday nights, that's a very disappointing result for a Mewtwo hunt. I've gotten more rare Pokemon out of Alolan eggs than I have from raids this week. And that's a bit of a disappointment and a half on itself. There's even a Hitmonchan raid that I was certain I could solo, but I got cocky and thought that I could take it on without any legendary Pokemon. And when I finally did start to bring legendary Pokemon into the picture, I had to take into account that my best Mewtwo's no longer have Psychic, because I swapped everything I had before the Mewtwo race started to Shadow Ball, because I was thinking, oh, I'm going to have a ton of Mewtwo, so I might as well get all the legacy move ones that I can while I still can, and until I get those Mewtwo's, I'm going to be regretting that decision every time I see a fighting type in a raid. Thankfully, I had a friend from the community that was able to bail me out of the stupid situation I got myself in and at least avoid wasting a raid pass. But I powered up my Moltres, that Sky Attack, and it's 98 IV since then. So I'm a lot more confident that we're not going to be having that issue with in history ever again. And I was able to get my confidence back up when coming across a Machamp raid later on in the week. I guess I've just assumed that Machamp was the standard quote just because of how good he is for raid battles. I just forget that he's also, even though he's one of the strongest attackers, he's one of the least defensive Pokemon. And I mean, like Hitmonchan, for example, could have Ice Punch. So if your Psychic type legendaries are all part flying because you TM all your Mewtwo's to Shadow Ball, that might bite you in the Bazooie. Just hypothetically throwing curveballs out there, though. Let's see. I even hatched a regional. I hatched another Kangaskhan this week, and an Alolan Vulpix, all into that time frame. And I probably caught a lot of Spindas too, but I know I've just went on a massive Spinda transferring spree because I had like 8 of a single form. I think I still have 3 of the most recent form I got, but I just wanted to keep a couple extra around in case people needed to trade for it. And speaking of trading, my inventory is starting to get full because I've gotten to the point where I'm only opening Alolan eggs if they're from people who are out of state, just so I can assure myself that even if I get an Alolan Meowth or a Sandshrew like they did this week, it would at least be out of state and be pretty good for trade fodder. I guess I could go over all the Pokemon I've hatched. Like, I'm pretty sure I got a Trapinch that's long gone, a Beldum that I'm still holding on to try to trade for candies, an Alolan Vulpix, an Alolan Geodude, an Alolan Sandshrew, and another Alolan Sandshrew, and a Kangaskhan. Almost forgot about the best part about this week. I've been hoarding Machop candies for so long, because my thinking is, because I already got 2 really good Harmianas, that I would not evolve another Machop until I got one with perfect attack. And sure enough, I came across Shira here, which isn't exactly the best IV champ in the world, but it's got perfect attack, and it's in the best of them range, so that was good enough for me to evolve. It's also pretty low level, like 11 or something like that. But because I've been hoarding candy for so long, that shouldn't be an issue. I also decided to cave in and finally evolve that one Machop that's like in the above 95 percentile in IVs. Just because it didn't have perfect attack or something dumb like that. Like, it is almost perfect. You will use it if you power it up. So I did that too. So I have 2 new champs to work around with. And just today, I had horrible luck finding Mewtwo today. Spent like 2 hours after I finished all my chores I had to do outside hunting for Mewtwo raids. Only found like 1 or 2 Mewtwo raids, with one of those 2 raids finishing up per area I went to. And even when I found Mewtwo raids, I could not get enough people together to do them, and I'm still salty about this. Sold. Add some pepper to your sold. Point being, I got myself a perfect attack Machop just today. And it's the best of them. I just don't know where to evolve it, because I just evolved 2 Machops earlier today, and I'm pretty sure they both got better IVs than this one. But it's perfect attack and is in the best of them, so I'm holding on to it, because Pokemon hoarding is good for you, Hutchuck. And I got my research breakthrough Entei. Not gonna power it up at all, because it's not as good as my one I got from raids. But I don't want to throw it out, because it is in the best of them. My standards got raised stupidly high for Enteis though, because I have 2 that are 98% IV, so that means they're perfect in all but one stat, and even the stat they're not perfect in is still pretty close to perfect. So yeah, standards were way too high for research breakthrough for Enteis anyways. Even though I'll probably never use a Suicune, I'm not really disappointed about Entei that week being my last week of Enteis. And just scrolling through my Pokemon in particular, I can't think of anything else that I did this week. Besides stock up on Alolan eggs, like pretty much all but one of my inventory slots is Alolan eggs. And I got 2 going on incubator, so if I do just so happen to walk enough to hatch one, I could just replace it. And it's going to take forever, because I am done using super incubators. For the longest time, I've had at least 20 super incubators ready to go. And now, after this whole Alolan shenanigan events with the eggs and all, I am down to 5 super incubators that have yet to be touched, and 5 super incubators that only got 1 use left. Especially with the upcoming community day, I'm not using any more super incubators for a long time. So I will probably be on these eggs for a long time. But that's okay. I've been going through eggs so quickly so much lately. Wouldn't hurt to get myself used to the slow grind again. Could probably just go buy more, but I gotta resist. I gotta hold off on putting money into this game, and let's be real, when community day comes around, they're definitely gonna make a box revolving right around incubators. Especially with an event where you go through incubators so much more quickly. Like, it would be stupid not to take advantage of that. Oh, and I just ultra friends with someone from the college I walk at sometimes. That's nice. Now that does remind me, I am trying to work on trying to get myself a Lucky Mewtwo. Wasn't going to say anything yet because I don't know if things will actually fall through, but I currently have 6 lucky Pokemon, and I believe 2 that I'm willing to trade from 2016. So I was trying to find someone in the community that I could set up a lucky trade with. And while I don't think I have anyone that's ultra friends with me willing to do it, I think there's at least a couple people that have Mewtwo's already, so the trade would be pretty cheap. I could trade them an old Pokemon for a Mewtwo, and then they could trade me an old Pokemon for a Mewtwo, and we both have lucky Mewtwo's. And they still have 2 more possible lucky Pokemon that I could get guaranteed. assuming I have enough old Pokemon to do said lucky trades, which I actually don't think I do. I'll scroll through what I have from August 2016 and that, but at this point, most of it's too sentimental to trade away. I have my starter, probably the only thing I still have from July 2016. Oh, I have Lilium's Weedle. That's going to be an inside reference that nobody exclusive to the Pokemon Go community is going to get. Technically, he's from July 2016 too, but he's almost even more sentimental than the starter. Almost. And then I got Solar. I guess this is a random bee drill that I caught. Probably one of my first fully evolved Pokemon I caught from July 2016. Don't know if I want to trade that, but I guess if I desperately need one more lucky trade, that's an option. Then I have Fuel here, which is kind of a dumb thing from July 2016. I held on to it for so long because I caught it at a gas station. That's literally all the backstory has to it. So I think at this point I'm only holding on to it for the sake of doing lucky trades. My next oldest Pokemon... Huh? Oh. I think I done goofed. I thought that Doug Trio was from July, or I thought that Doug Trio was from August, but it's actually from October 2016. So I may not actually have as many Pokemon to trade as I thought. That Vaporeon is definitely going to be what I use to get the Lucky Mewtwo. But let's see, I got Hoopla here, which is my next oldest after the Vaporeon, and that was caught in September 2016. Ooh. I mean, I guess if I need two old Pokemon, I was definitely planning on trading away the Vaporeon, and I might be willing to part with Solar. I'm glad I realized this now instead of when I was going around looking for people to do lucky trades with. For those of you who don't recall, a while back they announced some updates with lucky Pokemon, and one of the things was they officially confirmed if you want to guarantee lucky Pokemon, you have to A, have less than 10 lucky Pokemon, and B, trade away a Pokemon that was caught either on July 2016 or August 2016. The good news is that if you do the trade, you can, like in theory, you could trade to someone. It only matters on one person's side. Like, the person who trades you the 2016 Pokemon also has to be the person who has less than 10 lucky Pokemon. The recipient could have as many lucky Pokemon as they want, but the person who trades the old Pokemon also has to be the one with less than 10 luckies. Since the luckies are guaranteed on both sides, it just confirms it from there. And I think that's a good point to end on, because I went through everything I was going for this week. I went through what I was talking about the future, and I got some thoughts to ponder, like the meaning of life, how much of it's been a lie, and similar topics. Thank you all for tuning in. Before I go, I just got a bit of house cleaning to do. Next week, the recording sessions that I normally do on Saturday will be live streamed. So be sure to tune in to me on Twitch at, I gotta double check the time, 9 p.m. Yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern. I will be doing a live stream of the Pokemon Go Fireside Chat, where you guys can tune in to watch me record a podcast live on stream, and I'll answer questions at the end of it. I've been debating how exactly I want to format streaming, and while I want to try out some things before making it official, I think I'm narrowing down how I want to handle my streaming, uploading, and podcasting schedule. Essentially, I just drafted up my plans from Tuesday to Friday after work, and I want to test that out for a couple weeks before making an official schedule. But if all that works out, I think I'm actually gonna drop to doing audio only recordings for the podcast minus that 1 week of the live stream. Save myself a little time and allow me to put more into video editing. Instead of basically taking all my recordings for the week and trying to sync it up to the podcast, I think I'm just going to make a separate video for my weekly activities in Pokemon Go. and keep the podcast as an audio only thing, minus the weeks that I live stream. Wow, I think my voice is going, because I'm too stubborn to dump this soda that I have in front of me and get some actual water. So I better wrap things up here. If you want to keep up with my updates, you can follow me at JackitK on Twitter. That's the spelling of JackitK, but instead of a K, you add some stuff to the end. As I mentioned, I do live streams on twitchtv.JackitK. I am working on trying to incorporate more routine streaming. May have to do non-commentated gaming streams, but if I do that, it'll allow me to stream more in the middle of the week. But again, gotta test out how the schedule actually works before making things official. I recommend just staying tuned there to find out more, though. See, I don't think I ever plugged it, but I have an Instagram where I do a lot of Pokemon Go screenshots. That's basically the only thing I use it for outside of when I take pictures of cosplays at conventions. And that is spelled JackitK, but add the AY to your end of my name. And where else can I plug? I mean, I have a website that makes finding all my content a lot easier, but I can't remember the URL. So I guess I'll try to include it in the show notes or something. That's all I got for now. Oh yeah, I got a YouTube channel. Since I'm in the phase of in-between projects, Pokemon Go content is the majority of stuff on there currently. But I especially encourage you to check it out if you enjoyed gaming in general. I do a lot of Nintendo gaming stuff and all that. And I think I'll have news in regards to the next playthrough fairly soon. Thank you all for tuning in, letting me ramble. Kind of fun to just do this way instead of just try to organize my thoughts and shorten the format a bit more. But I gotta go before my voice and my throat just becomes a dry abyss of nothingness. Take care, everyone. That you can receive alone eggs with regionals inside of them till October 18th. Or, I mean, you had one job and you buffed it up. One job. You just say October